What is up everybody, my name is BobaTalks and you are watching BobaTalks. Welcome to a new Flash breakdown video. This is going to be all about that new promo that got released yesterday, and it's all about Barry trying to save Iris. So before we get into the promo breakdown, let's actually have a look at the promo.
What are you not telling me?
The future's changed. I saw a Savitar murder you. We need to figure out everything that happens leading up to Iris's death. If we can change one of these events, we can change them all.
How long until it happens?
I swear I will protect you. Iris needs a hero right now, Wally. We can prove that we can alter the future here and now.
Get ready, McFly. I'm about to vibe you back to the future.
3, 2, 1.
So from the beginning of the promo, we see that Iris is asking Barry what is up. I mean, it's kind of obvious that he's been hiding something, and you can't really blame him since he did see his girlfriend Iris die in the future. And so from when he found out about Iris's death in the future, I think it's kind of obvious that he's been in a different mood and he's been treating her differently, and she's seeing straight through that. And this leads straight into that next scene in the trailer where they're actually in the Braille room and Barry is telling Iris that he saw her get killed by Savitar in the future. So it also looks like they just came from an event, I don't know, or maybe one of their weird little speedster dates because they're all dressed up. And Barry takes her to the Braille room, which we haven't seen since the crossover. They don't really use this room as much, but it's actually one of my favorite rooms in Star Labs because it's always got a bit of mystery in there, and it's, you know, got Gideon's future prediction of the paper. And that leads me to say this is how Barry actually tells Iris why and how she's going to die, since she was the one who wrote the newspaper article and now her name has been replaced. So Barry telling Iris all of this obviously freaks her the hell out. Now from this whole promo, the whole message is very clear. It's like there's no way Barry is going to let Iris die. And if there's anything that we've learned from any other season of The Flash, it's just basically through messing with time and changing something often incurs a similar result on something else. So through Barry saying in the trailer that we need to figure out all the events leading up to Iris's death, if we can change one of them, we can change everything. I don't feel like this is going to go the way Team Flash wants it to go. And you can also see Barry actually writing on this see-through board with the marker pen all the different events that are going to happen. So if you do actually flip this image, you can see some of what Barry has written down in terms of the events that lead up to Iris's death. So it says like Killer Frost is still at large right at the bottom. It also says West honored at City Hall. Now this could mean Joe West, which is most probable. Maybe he does something in a future episode that makes him get honored from the police force. Then it says somebody gets a 6-figure book deal, and then it says somebody is caught by the Flash, and that is most likely Plunderer, which is what we actually saw in the previous episode when Barry went into the future. It showed that Plunderer's trial is now finally over after many months of, you know, being a thing. So I feel like when Barry is saying to Wally, both in their speedster suits, Iris needs a hero, Wally, we need to prove that we can change the future. Back when Barry accidentally traveled to the future and found out that Plunderer was caught by the Flash, this event is actually coming up in this episode, but him and Wally are going in together, and that is actually a scene that got released a couple of weeks ago when Wally and Barry come back into Star Labs after capturing Plunderer, and Barry's a bit pissed off with Wally. Bit by bit, Barry's going to try and do anything and everything to change the events that lead up to Iris's death, to prove that he can change the future by not doing what he's done in the past and breaking that golden rule of going back to the past and basically creating a whole flashpoint. I still feel like he's still making the same mistakes though, just because he's had that massive lecture from everybody and Jay Garrick saying, you know, you can't go to the past. Now he's just like, oh, okay, but I'll try and change the future. So I feel like through doing this, and if he is maybe successful in saving Iris's life, he's going to end up getting someone else killed. And this could be how Julian dies at the end of the season, since this is kind of the theory that Julian is going to die somehow, since he's most likely not going to be in season 4, since he's a big actor and he costs a lot of money and all that jazz. So we see later into this promo that Cisco and Barry are both basically vibing into the future to get a look at all the events that they can change leading up to Iris's death. And this is probably how Barry is actually getting all those ideas for the whiteboard and what they can change bit by bit to make sure that Iris's death doesn't actually happen. We might get to see quite a few Easter eggs since this will be the future and they will be looking around to see all the events that they can change. So make sure you keep your eyes out on that part of the episode when it airs. Now we did see Caitlin basically walking down the corridor and her eyes going a bit Killer Frosty. Now we all knew this was going to happen. I didn't actually expect it to happen so soon. I mean, I feel like what is going to happen? Are they going to go... I mean, they can't keep this up for too long, if that makes sense. So they're going to have to either decide, is she going to be Caitlin Snow or is she going to be Killer Frost? And from this episode, this isn't the only time Cisco has actually vibed the future with Barry. He's actually vibed the future, if you remember, when he was fighting Killer Frost as full-on Vibe in his Vibe suit. So this could well be on the way to that actually coming true. And there is a theory out there at the minute that this whole thing with Iris dying could be a self-fulfilling prophecy, in the sense of by doing all these things and changing all these events and making sure that Iris doesn't die, that actually is in fact the case of why Iris dies by Savitar. So if Barry actually, stood there and did nothing, Iris would actually never die. So if that actually happened, that would be a really, really depressing way to end the season, because, Barry, through trying absolutely everything he could do to prevent Iris's death from actually happening, actually causes her death, that would probably drive him on the brink of madness. But I don't necessarily think that would happen. I think that it might be perhaps a case of they will actually prevent Iris from dying, but Julian might end up just taking her place. As well as some other bad things happening, like, full-on Killer Frost at large, like we saw on the whiteboard, so on and so forth. But either way, guys, let me know what you thought of this promo below. My questions for you guys to answer in the comments below are, do you think that Iris is actually going to die from everything that Team Flash is actually trying to do to prevent that from happening? Or do you think that Team Flash is going to pull it off and save Iris, but something absolutely devastating is going to be replaced because of that? As always, everyone, please leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it, and maybe even consider subscribing if you aren't already subscribed to this channel. Thank you all so much for watching. I love making these videos. They're always so fun to do. So make sure you do leave your thoughts on everything Flash related in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.